Okay, let's get started. So, hello and welcome to the school year 24-25 Paid Lunch Equity Information Buffet. My name is Ruth Howard, and I'm a program specialist here at the Office of Nutrition Programs and Services. We will be recording today's presentation and posting it on our website at a later date, and I'm so happy you have chosen to join us today. What is paid lunch equity, and why do I have to fill out this tool? The paid lunch equity tool ensures that the federal reimbursement from free and reduced price lunches does not subsidize the price of paid lunches. All state agencies and school food authorities must continue to report paid lunch prices for school year 24-25 as required in regulations at 7 CFR 210.14E7. The state agency also needs to track who has taken the exemption. USDA included this great flowchart to help SFAs determine which tabs in the tool to use. Important reminders. The PLE tool calculates the weighted average price of all paid lunch prices charged in the school food authority. The maximum annual average price increase required will not exceed 10 cents. This may lead to some shortfall being carried over to the next school year, as some SFAs will not be required to raise their weighted average price or contribute revenue from non-federal sources to the nonprofit food service account due to this 10-cent cap. Depending on where the SFA is relative to the weighted average price requirement for school year 24-25, a contribution of less than 10 cents may be required. The SFA also has the option to do a price increase that exceeds the 10-cent cap, with the additional contribution being carried over to the next school year as a credit. I will not be going over these options today, as most of the state does not use either of these options, but I do want to explain what these options are. So the school year 24-25 non-federal calculator and the 24-25 split calculator tabs. What are these tabs for? Well, the non-federal calculator tab is when your SAU or SFA has elected to use non-federal funds to cover the entire price increase for paid student lunches. The split calculator tab, your SAU or SFA has elected to split the cost of the price increase for paid student lunches using non-federal funds. And please note, if either of these two options are going to be used, you must make sure that there is a procedure for the transfer of the non-federal funds to the nonprofit food service account. Will it be done weekly, monthly, quarterly? Have a procedure in place. And I want to remind everybody that these options have nothing to do with the transfer of non-federal funds at the end of the school year to make the nonprofit food service account whole. That is a completely different process than calculating PLE. So we're going to add the school administration unit, the SAU, and or the school food authority name. And we're going to do that on the instructions tab. So open the school year 24-25 PLE tool and navigate to the instructions tab. In cell A2 of this tab, enter the SAU name and number. If you're completing tools for multiple operating budgets, enter the SAU name and number along with the school food authority name. This information will propagate to each tab in the tool, and you must fill this in even if the SAU or SFA is exempt. Is my SAU or SFA exempt from raising the student paid lunch price? You are exempt from raising the paid student lunch price for school year 24-25 if you had a zero or positive balance in the nonprofit food service account as of June 30th, 2023. However, you may still raise the price of student paid lunch if you choose to do so. Now, the backup needed for this exemption is a trial by fund balance or similar report for the nonprofit food service account as of June 30th, 2023. And you may use attachment W from the 23-24 NSLP application in My NHDOE as backup. Where do I enter the exemption on the PLE tool? On this SY 24-25 report tab, scroll down to cell A9. In the bottom right corner of the cell, there is a drop-down button, and I put a red circle around it. Select utilization of the school year 24-25 PLE exemption. And there's a couple of more steps that have to be done for this, so we'll do that right here. In cell B10 on the same tab, enter the paid student lunch price for school year 24-25. And in cell B12, enter yes. Now, I need to stress this again. Along with the tool, you must attach a trial by fund balance or similar report for the nonprofit food service account as of June 30th, 2023 in the SY 24-25 NSLP application as a backup for this option. Now, at this point, if you've taken the exemption, you're not going to raise prices, save and close the tool. If you're taking the exemption, you have completed the 24-25 PLE tool. Make sure you fill out the PLE attestation and select option 4 and note the balance of the nonprofit food service account as of June 30th, 2023 in option 4 as well. Make sure it's June 30th, 2023. Paid lunch equity is based on last year. Information needed to complete the PLE tool. All SFAs will need the following to calculate the weighted average price requirement for school year 24-25 and the required price increase. The unrounded price requirement for 23-24 or the most recent school year for which data is available. If this value is not known, then the SFA will need the weighted average price for paid lunches from school year 2010-2011. The number of paid lunches served associated with each paid lunch price for October 2023 and the total dollar amount of shortfall, deficit, or credit being carried over from school year 23-24. So let's go ahead and collect that needed data. So in the 23-24 PLE tool, on the school year 23-24 report tab, we're going to be looking for the value, and I have the red arrow pointed right there. Going to open the tool and go to the 23-24 report tab, and in cell G15, note the amount exactly. Do not copy and paste. There's a formula in that cell. It will cause you trouble to do so. So please just write down what the value is. And I also want to remind you that you should be downloading the state agency approved PLE tool from the 23-24 NSLP application attachments in My NHDOE. So in this example, the PLE tool from 23-24 calculated that the unrounded weighted average price requirement was $3.01. The $3.01 value is what will be used to determine the weighted average price requirement for school year 24-25. So please write this amount down, and I'm going to remind you again, do not copy and paste. Now in the 24-25 PLE tool, we're going to go to the SY 24-25 requirement calculator tab, and I want you to go to cell A7 and enter the value that you just wrote down from the previous step. In this example, it was $3.01. And please, as you work in your 24-25 tool, save your work frequently. find your paid lunch numbers in My NHDOE. So log into My NHDOE and go to claims for October of 2023. If you have one operating budget, note the total amount of paid lunches claimed for each site, and then verify the price that was charged for each lunch. If you don't know the prices charged for lunch, the site applications in My NHDOE list what the SFA charged for paid student lunches. Please do not use a POS report for total student paid lunch prices and the total amount of paid lunches. Use what was claimed for accuracy. Enter the paid student lunch prices in the 24-25 PLE tool. So all that data you just collected, we're going to go into the 24-25 tool to the Price Raise Calculator tab, and we're going to enter the paid student lunch totals and prices in step 1. As you can see in this example, this is a district that has one operating budget and 3 different prices for paid student lunches. Could be in elementary, middle, and high school. Can I estimate the weighted average price for one or more multiple schools for school year 24-25? Of course you can. On the 24-25 price calculator tab, go to cell B37, the pricing estimation calculator section. Enter the paid student lunch numbers for each school from the 22-23, sorry, that should be, the 22-23 PLE tool. And here you can copy and paste the numbers from step 1 on this same tab into the pricing estimation calculator. So what you're doing here is you can adjust the paid lunch prices until you are satisfied with the weighted average price for school year 24-25, and that shows up in cell E50. You can estimate and manipulate the prices to see what works best for your district. This step is optional, but it can assist you with predicting your monthly revenue from the price increases you're thinking of for multiple sites or even just one site. Where to find the shortfall or credit from the 23-24 PLE tool. Open the tool and select the 23-24 report tab. And of course, we're back in the old tool. And I've put arrows. So the shortfall to carry forward for 24-25 is item A. And any credits show in item B. You should only have one or the other. Make a note of whichever one applies to you so you can have it for the 24-25 tool. And again, do not copy and paste. Entering the shortfall or credit to carry forward. On the school year 24-25 price raise calculator tab, enter the shortfall or credit to carry forward in cell A26. If it is a shortfall, make sure you precede the value with a minus sign. School year 24-25 report tab. In section 2, select the method you will use to meet the requirements. In this example, we are going to raise the weighted average price of paid lunches by selecting the drop-down tab in the lower right-hand corner of cell A9 and picking method 1. Flat steps. Staying on the same tab, scroll down to cell B15, which should be green, and enter the price you have selected for the weighted average price of paid student lunches. In this example, I used the value from the price estimator we talked about earlier in this presentation, $3.51. Now at this point, you can save and close the PLE tool. It is complete.